Some spiritual aspects of the Qur'an. God Almighty says, a Qur'an full of wonders. In this verse, God has described the Qur'an as full of wonders. The Qur'an is a very unique book in many aspects, one being spiritual. It is neither a science, nor a history, nor a philosophy book. It is primarily a guidance book, rich of spiritual gems. In order to appreciate those spiritual gems, we need to first understand the meaning of the Spirit. God Almighty says, they are asking you concerning the Spirit. Say, the Spirit is of the command, affair of my Lord, and very little knowledge you have been given. God Almighty says, and when your Lord said to the angels, I am going to create a human being from molded clay, so when I have fashioned him, and had a spirit of my own creation breathed into him, fall down in prostration to him. So the Spirit is the blow from God in human beings, and it gave us, unlike animals, 1. The ability to think in the abstract about the unseen, including the future, the how-tos, and the nature of things. 2. The sense of beauty. 3. The ability to acquire knowledge and make legislations. 4. The ability for us to aspire to the higher world. The Spirit is closely related to our guidance to the straight path, and to the commands of God, longing for God, and aspiring to attain perfection. God Almighty says, and thus we have inspired to you a spirit of our command. You did not know what the book was, nor the beliefs, but we made it a light by which we guide whoever we will among our servants, and you truly guide to a straight path. There is a distinction between the spirit and the soul. The spirit is only for human beings, and it is that distinguishes us from all other living things. The Qur'an never mentioned that the spirit dies. It is the soul that dies. Every soul is going to taste death. The soul is what makes a being alive or dead, while the spirit is particular to human beings and not a subject of life or death. It is a common error, even among scholars, using the term spirit and soul interchangeably. Spiritual training. Just like a body muscle that needs consistent training to keep in shape and to grow, it is the same with the spiritual muscle. It needs regular prayers and frequent yearning for God Almighty. Sometimes this can be hard because we are either too tired or too preoccupied. Body and spirit. We have two sides in us: the materialistic, animalistic, and perishable side, the need for food, shelter, social relationships, and to maintain hygiene, etc. And our spiritual side, which includes intellectual inspirations, sense of everlasting existence, aiming towards goodness, truth, love of beauty, and seeking high morals such as gratitude, fairness, courage, honesty, and integrity. Let us explore some of those spiritual aspects. Al-Inabah, Transcendence. God Almighty says, the disbelievers say, if only a sign could be sent down to him from his Lord. Say, indeed, God leaves to stray whoever he wills, and guides to himself whoever transcends to him. God Almighty says, and transcend to your Lord, and submit to him before the punishment gets to you, and then you would not be helped. God Almighty says, whatever you may differ about, its judgment rests with God. That is God, my Lord. In him I put my trust, and to him I transcend. What is this transcendence that is mentioned 18 times in the Qur'an, and how do we achieve it? Transcendence is to turn or orient yourself mentally and physically, including your own limbs, toward God, the Supreme. The linguistic origin is from the Arabic verb nab, or to take over. For example, the word na'ib, meaning deputy, or the word ni'abe, meaning authority. Both forms imply to take charge. Transcendence is when you let God's connection take over. In other words, transcendence is to put yourself both physically and consciously in a receiving mode. A good example is a satellite dish in which it is oriented to tune in to the heavenly wavelength. So in prayer, a person tries to put himself or herself in that receiving mode, which is what transcendence is. It is not always easy due to many distractions. Al-Qunut, Subservience. God Almighty says, or the one who is subservient in the hours of the night, prostrating and standing, fearing the hereafter, and hoping for the mercy of his or her Lord, like the one who does not. Say, are those who know equal to those who do not know? Only people of reason would remember. Subservience is to lovingly obey in silence, contentment, fond acceptance, and humbleness. So subservience to God is to do all the above by worshipping Him devoutly with dedication and total acceptance, and it is closely associated with prayer in the Qur'an. God Almighty says, maintain your prayers, and of the middle prayer, and stand up subserviently to God. According to this verse, subservience is probably best manifested in the middle prayer, which is likely the dawn or pre-dawn prayer, since the day starts at sunset in the Islamic calendar. Al-Ta'ob. Yearning for return is to be looking forward to and seeking to return home, to one's peaceful place, to God, the most merciful. God Almighty says, your Lord knows best what is within yourselves. If you are good, He is certainly all-forgiving to those who yearn the return to Him. God Almighty says, those to whom we sent the scriptures rejoice in what has been revealed to you, while some factions deny parts of it. Say to them, I have been commanded only to worship God and not to associate partners with Him. To Him I pray, and to Him is my return. God Almighty says, those who believe and do right, joy is for them, and bliss is their journey's end. Ma'ab, journey's end, is the final destination to God, the Supreme. One's rest place should be when he or she meets Him, the Most High. So when you mind that fact and cherish your final return, you are a returner, a web. Just as when planning on going on a vacation, you keep dreaming about how nice you want it to be, thereby looking forward to it. Al-Khubut, humbling oneself. To happily subside in contentment and tranquility, as well as feeling small and insignificant, is to humble oneself. At the same time, it is to dwell in a state of safety, comfort, calm oneself, feel secure, peaceful, and at ease. God Almighty says, for every community we appointed a rite of sacrifice, so that they may pronounce the name of God over the sacrificial animals He has provided for them. For your God is only one God, so submit yourselves to Him, and give good news to the ones who humble themselves to God. God Almighty says, those who believe and do good works, and humble themselves before their Lord, such are rightful owners of the garden. They will abide therein. Al-Khushu', cringing. Cringing, on the other hand, is close to the previous meaning. It is to lower yourself and become still and humble. It is to cast down to the ground and settle quietly. God has described the barren earth as cringed, or still and humble until it flourishes when water hits it. God Almighty says, and among His signs is that you see the earth cringed, still and humble. Then when we send down upon it water, it quivers and grows. Indeed, the one who brings it back to life will also bring the dead back to life. He is certainly most capable of everything. God Almighty says, "Seek help in patience and prayer, and truly it is an enormous burden, save for the humble-minded." The ones who think they are meeting their Lord. Meeting their Lord could have double meanings. 1. Meeting God now in prayer. Or 2. Later in the afterlife. God Almighty says, "Those who are still and humble in their prayer." Al-Tadarru, seeking relentlessly. Al-Tadarru's Arabic origin is from the word utter, just like newly born babies relentlessly seek their mother's breast for milk. Al-Tadarru to God is to beg and implore Him vigorously, consistently, unwaveringly, tirelessly, and relentlessly. God Almighty says, "Call upon your Lord humbly and secretly. Surely He does not like the transgressors." God Almighty says, "Remember your Lord deep down in yourself with humility and reverence, without raising your voice, both morning and evening, and do not be among the neglectful ones." Al-Du'a, supplication. We are all familiar with the word du'a, or supplication, which is when we ask God for whatever we need individually or collectively, in secret and in public, in good and bad times. God Almighty says, "So call upon God with sincere devotion, even to the dismay of the disbelievers." God Almighty says, "Who responds to the distress when he or she calls out to Him, and who relieves the affliction, and who makes you successors in the earth? Is there another God besides God? Yet you are hardly mindful." A special type of du'a, or supplication, al-ja'r, which is to cry out loud for God's help when an imminent hardship hits. God Almighty says, "Whatever blessings you have are from God. Then whenever hardship touches you, to Him you cry out for help." Spiritual aspects of the Qur'an move us spiritually, touch our souls, and penetrate our hearts with no barrier. Just as water, which unlike any other food penetrates the stomach wall to the body instantly, so does the spirituality of the Qur'an touch our very being. Why is it important to learn about these spiritual aspects? Because the more connected to God, the more compassionate we become. We would wish well to other people, find excuses for them, help them, and live a more content, meaningful, and fulfilling life. This attained spiritual enlightenment is a living experience that is hard to describe, especially to people who only believe in the material world. God Almighty says, "Are they comparable? The one who had been dead, then we made him or her alive, and made light for him or her with which he or she can walk among people, and the one who was in multiple darknesses and would not emerge from them." That is how the disbelievers are lured by their actions. The Qur'an is a fountain that overflows with spirituality. Thusly, we always recite it in our prayers, since it has the ability to elevate us.